If you're still recovering from Donald Trump's tariff tantrum last night, where he theatrically declared that the Indian economy is dead, guess who didn't waste a second before picking up that line and running with it? Well, you've guessed correctly, it was Rahul Gandhi. Modi killed the economy, Rahul said on social media, firing a bullet list of points to support his claim. Well, past the usual political rhetoric, Rahul makes 5 big claims now, and as leader of the opposition, his words obviously deserve some attention. So let's slow down and look at the facts. Let's take the claims one at a time and look just a little bit closer. Rahul's big claim number 1, demonetization and a flawed GST, he says, while claiming that the Indian economy is dead and that Modi killed it. So he says demonetization and a flawed GST. Well, the truth is, India's GDP grew 6.4% in financial year 24-25 with projections of 6.3 to 6.8% for this year. GST collections have surged to over 22 lakh crore, up 9.4% year on year. In fact, GST revenue has nearly doubled in the last 5 years. Sure, there's room for growth and corrections, but that sounds to be just the opposite of a broken system with flaws. Now let's come to claim number 2. Assemble in India has failed. He's taking a barb at the whole Make in India flagship project of the Modi government. Well, the truth is, India's manufacturing PMI stands at 59.2 in July. Anything above 50 is considered to be good on that scale. Now that is growth territory and the fastest pace since June 2024 according to Standard & Poor's Global. India's manufacturing ambition is gaining global traction, and this is across sectors. The fact that Rahul chooses to say assemble as a barb against make in India doesn't hold any water, since these numbers wouldn't otherwise exist. Now let's come to claim number 3 from Rahul's tweet, where he says MSMEs have been wiped out. Now, this is a huge exaggeration, because the truth here is MSME exports have tripled between 2020 and 2025, 3.95 lakh crore to 12.39 lakh crore. The number of exporting MSMEs has gone up from 52,000 to over 1.7 lakh. MSMEs now account for over 30% of India's GDP. Does this sound like an ecosystem that's been wiped out, as Rahul Gandhi is claiming? Now let's come to claim number 4 in that exaggerated tweet. He says farmers have been crushed. The truth here is, the one thing that's really been crushed is momentum towards agri reforms. Remember the Congress's shameful support of vested interests that derailed the farm laws a few years ago? A movement claimed to be for farmers has only ended up benefiting the rich, leaving those very same poor farmers exactly where they were. On the other hand, farm incomes have grown over 5% annually for the past decade. Farm sector growth is projected at 3.5% in financial year 26. And both the centre and states are actively working on distress mitigation programs for farmers. Of course, there is farmer distress in this country. It's a reality. Of course, there are horrible farmer suicides. It's a reality across states, including those ruled by Rahul's own Congress party. But what that requires is not exaggeration and rhetoric. It requires a coordinated acknowledgement of work being done, and not these exaggerated claims. And finally, claim number 5, where he says there are no jobs, the economy is dead. Well, here are the facts. From 2016 to 2023, 170 million jobs were added, a 36% rise in employment levels. The job market is projected to grow 9% in 2025, and the IT sector is seeing a 15% hiring bump. Is there underemployment? Is there an unemployment issue? Of course there is. But is this an exaggerated claim to say there are no jobs? Yes, absolutely. No jobs is a political exaggeration, and it is also irresponsible, especially if it's being used on the back of a comment made by a temperamental, tantrum-throwing American president. So here's the bottom line tonight, viewer. When Donald Trump threw a grenade saying the Indian economy is dead and I don't care about it, it's peculiar how quickly Rahul Gandhi picked it up. But when you look past the noise, past the tweets and half-truths, even the slightest of data tells, as you can see, a very different story, because none of this is my opinion. This is all fact. Does the economy have problems in India? Undoubtedly it does. Is there room for vast improvement? 100%. Are there issues that need urgent attention? Absolutely. Who's denying it? But is India's economy dead? Well, I've just demonstrated that it isn't.